Hello everyone. It's been a long week, hasn't it? So, new content's dropped, and we're gonna talk about it yet again. Oh man. I don't really know how to feel about this week's content, you know? Like, it's nice seeing the S Gundam being completely, there's a free variant of it now, which is nice, but I don't know. I don't know how to feel. Morgan rated. Yeah. I like that name. I found it just worked really well when I was doing the theme of the map. So anyways, let's get cracking on our content here. Shop. So let's take a look at the Indigo coin. So as normal, we're going to look at the gacha, or not the gacha welfare, the welfare. We're going to look at what's in the event shop. We're going to look at the gacha stuff, any event blueprints if I haven't already looked at them. And then we'll look at the stuff on Twitter if they upload the videos this time. And then we'll finish off on the alterations. Now I do know that there are some repeated alterations because the no name has returned, as well as oh, what is that guy's name? I shouldn't be blanking out that hard on this because I use him often. Good lord. Why am I blanking out on that guy's name? Holy crap. I don't remember his name, and this is actually grinding my gears. What is your name, buddy? 6-star pilot. Where are you? Graham Acre. That's it. Graham Acre. Man, I don't know how I completely forgot that guy's name. Oh boy. So, ZZ. Yeah, the double Z came back as well. But anyways, let's take a look at the Qubeley Mark II. This is the Gunpla custom. So, it's quite on the Indigo side. Pilot rerun is battery run. Oh, that's nice. Okay, so what are we looking at here? Okay, wow, okay, so for a welfare, it actually has really high shot attack, breaking 3,000 before any kind of carryover mods. With carryover, 3,600 shot. Like, that's crazy high for a welfare. Nice. Trait, long shooter job, boost funnel uptime. Oh boy, funnel talk. All right, so for anyone that's new, or rather for anyone that's already heard this before, apologies in advance. For anyone that's new, this won't fix the problem with funnels. Funnels currently aren't offensive enough and don't do enough when you use them for the duration of the skill to make it worthwhile to boost the uptime further. To put it simply, if I am to use like the new Ver-Cause funnels, I shoot out 6 funnels and they shoot on a timer pretty much. Every X seconds they'll all shoot at once and fly around again and do it again. Problem is, it's the same timing as, let's say, the Kshatriyas funnels, which shoots out like 12 or something like that. So it's doing like twice the damage per set. Boosting funnel uptime doesn't actually fix the core issue, and beam funnels are just not good. Physical funnels so far across the board have been solid, but long shooter job, you're probably not going to be using melee funnels. Anyways, stats are good. Trait, not that good. What are we looking at? Tags. Xeon and long range. Okay. So it's interesting seeing the Xeon tag. It's becoming really common over the last like month and a half now. A lot of Xeon suits, which is cool. Long range. It used to be a relatively rare tag, but we've had quite a few welfares recently with it on, so it's become much more accessible. This just adds to the pile. Not bad. Not bad, don't get me wrong. Just, yeah. You know, not amazing or anything anymore. Torso. When attacking with beam, shooting crit rate boost. The game's a gacha game. We have enough RNG just trying to get parts. Do you really want to leave your damage up to RNG as well? Stat-wise. Alright, so the torso's a little more on the subdued end. It has sub 1000 shot attack pre-carryover, which is still good for a welfare. Post carryover there, we're looking at like 1400, which is really high for a welfare torso. So that's good stuff. For a welfare, solid stats. However, this does remind me a lot of the Sokai from last week, where the suit really had good stats, and I think this is going to be kind of the new baseline standard we see. So next week will kind of tell us that. So it's welfare alteration week. Cool. Well, we'll take a look at that later. And I'm assuming the tags on the torso are the same. Yep, Xeon long range. All right, let's take a look at the arms. Beam gun. D power. All right, no. If it was at least B power, this could technically, like, it might be feasible depending, because not all B power skills are great. Most of them are. There's like 3 or 4 exceptions, which cause a problem with saying all of them. But D power, wet noodle. No thanks. Statistically, all right, over 1000 shot attack out of the box is really solid. Carry over, what, 400 change? You're looking at about 1500 shot attack. For a pair of welfare arms, solid. Good stuff. All right, it does have token melee attack. Good amount of armor, too, for a pair of arms, so. All right, legs. When operated on auto, enemy melee power reduced. All right, actually, thinking about that. Let's take a little bit of a segue here. I want to talk about something I did not notice until yesterday. So my primary suit lineup is my shot machine, my melee machine, and typically like a tertiary. For the event, for example, the third one will be an event suit if I have the gacha event parts, so I can run 2 good suits. Anyways, when I was doing the situation mission, I switched over to one of my actual damage suits, and I realized all of its skills were on cooldown, which didn't make any sense because the traits of the suit automatically, like when I pilot it, all the skills are ready to go off the gate. So I gotta talk to Bandai about that one. Something's funky with the unit switching thing, where it seems like the AI suits aren't properly taking all the attributes into account. And no, I never found out how they actually changed funnels. I'm still waiting on an answer from that, and when I ask about that previous thing, I'll bring that up, because I do really want to know what they actually changed with funnels. Okay, so when operated on auto, enemy melee power reduced. Frankly, at the end of the day, like, it's nice being able to reduce the enemy melee power. And if this suit's controlled by an AI, I'm assuming that's considered auto. Sure, why not? Not really that great for a primary suit though, because you're probably going to be manually controlling it. Numerically, you're talking about, what, 1300, 1400 shot attack. Pair of legs, that's really good. Do you remember the legs in the backpack tend to have like the lowest stat distribution out of all the frame parts? So this is good. And in case you're wondering, I'm chewing on ice. It's hot out, it's like not hot, it's humid outside. So I'm just trying to keep cool. All right, backpack. Show us the funnels. All right. So instead of giving it a stereotypical funnel skill, you know, you fire and forget, you can do other stuff while your funnels fly around and shoot stuff, they've incorporated it into a cutscene instead. And they've given it B+ power. It really depends on whether or not, like, it's a solid, like, pseudo cutscene, but B+ power should be good. The back description sounds like you control the funnels. Not. So what it is you use it, and what I'm going to assume is it fires them in front of you. Like they'll all come out, they'll kind of create like a half circle and fire beams forward or something, Or maybe it'll be an actual pseudo cutscene where you dash forward, and if you hit someone, you do this really short, you know, funnel barrage and let them go. Because we've had a few EX skills that are like pseudo cutscenes, not full, you know, 5, 6, 7, 8 second things where you're damaging the enemy, but real quick, just like, you know, hit, bang, bang, and you're done. But when you ask about the funnels, could you also ask for the ability to buy more part box space? So, like, I brought that up 4 months ago to them because I pointed out, like, I don't keep every single part in the game. I do actually recycle a large amount of them, and I really only keep the stuff I like. And even with that, I'm already running out of space in my box. And I told them, like, for people that roll a lot, have lots of dupes, things like that, man, like, we need more space. And like, so I can try again, but I wouldn't hold my breath. Okay. So, ooh, statistically, nice backpack. Oh boy. So, we have about 1,500 shot attack, which is solid. About 1,100 melee attack. For a backpack, welfare backpack, those are really nice numbers. And a decent EX skill to go with it. Alright. And the beam saber. When attacking with beam, EX skill power boosted. Now that's a freebie. So if you don't have a good trait on your melee weapon slot, whether you're shot or melee, here you go. When attacking with beam refers to beam, remember there is beam melee and beam shot. Beam shot uses the icon that you see on the arms here. Beam melee uses the beam saber. Physical melee uses the fist. So this EX skill power boost, this trait, actually will work on both melee and shot builds, as long as you use beam EX. That's a free 25% if you lack something good there. That's top tier. That's great. Especially considering it's just like a free EX 10, right? Like, crap. Stats are nothing to write home about, though. It's definitely just a trait thing. All right. So overall, the Qubeley Mark II, like, it's packing some serious numbers. The ARM magazine is a little bit of a letdown. The backpack looks interesting with its EX skill. Kind of want to see what it does, but... Alright, let's take a look at the rest of this, and then we'll bop on over to the gacha. So what awakening do we have this time? Close combat, Zaku type, ace exclusive, amphibious, and 4 urban area. Okay. Yeah, I definitely need more close combat. Alright. Cool. What about our mode plugins? Melee, normal, and attribute. Ooh. Nice. Alright. What are our blueprints this time? We have the Tryon, the GP03, and the red frame. Ooh, the base red frame. So the base red frame arms are really nice if you lack a good set of arms for your suit, because they boost your melee damage, which is solid stuff. Yeah, it's usable and it's free. The Qubeley definitely ticks both of those boxes, Flammy, you're right. So it's pretty rare to see, but that welfare gets a pretty dang resounding, like, it's dope. You're right. I forgot the legs have bisect. You're right. Man, like, I am running on so little hours of sleep the last few days. So on Saturday night into Sunday, I wanted to sleep really early so that I could wake up for the Fate Grand Order stream and watch that. I had a rough time getting to sleep. And then the Sunday to Monday, yeah, that just... I didn't jive. I was just kind of rolling around having a bad time all night. And then last night to today was, I guess I was really like hyped up for the new event in Punishing Gray Raven, because I'm enjoying that game a lot. I know people gave it shit for its launch and stuff, but like, it's dope. Try it if you haven't. So I'm running on very few hours of sleep right now. I'm not really surprised I forgot bisect exists on the red frame legs. The Qubeley only has room for 2 marks instead of the normal 3 for welfare, making its stats much lower. I'm going to assume that's going to be a bug. I'll bring that up with them as well, because that's not, like, that wasn't communicated anywhere to my knowledge. Alright, let's take a look at the S Gundam, shall we? Man, I like the way that S Gundam looks, though. That's just a nice look. Alright, let's take a poke at the head. Beam Smart Gun. Okay, so this is our cutscene with only B+ power. Interesting choice. Raise your shot attack by 24%? Alright. So, that's really interesting. I hope that this has alteration to push it up to A+ or S, because honestly, it sounds really good and practically on paper, it sounds good. It's just, it has B+ power. I have to see exactly what it consists of, especially considering it's a cutscene B+. That's weird. Okay, numerically, alright. So most of its stats are actually pumped directly into the shot attack instead of summoned to defense to carry over. This is probably what, like an 8,800? Oh, look at that. I guess pretty damn right. Okay. So it's definitely got the numbers. Doesn't have a lot of defense, but, you know, don't get hit. Easy stuff. Ace exclusive and Force Space. The Ace exclusive is nice to see. Best tag you can ask for was shot. I'm not a big fan of the 4 tag series, you know, 4 space, 4 urban area, 4 forest, all that stuff. So I don't really like that second tag very much, but each their own. Maybe your build uses it, whatever. Torso, when attacking with beam, shooting power boosted. So already talked about this with the welfare weapon. Awesome stuff. Shooting power boost, solid. Statistically, okay, so we get a little bit more of a carryover here. 2700 melee attack, that's like... Ugh, God, I don't know why I'm failing so hard doing basic math. So we're looking at about 1400 melee attack on the suit's torso. Really high, much like the welfare's like 1400 shot or whatever it was, stupid high. As for shot attack itself, we're looking at about 2050 or so. Again, for a not Sokai part, good stuff, man. Like, the head's got good numbers, the torso's got good numbers. Yeah. Good, like, shit, man. If this had come out as a Sokai, based on the parts I've seen so far, I don't think I would have batted an eye, frankly. Their weapons end up in the B letter slot for whatever reason. Smart sorts parts by letters and suit group. I can definitely inquire. This is a 4-star pick ticket unit. Yes, that's actually one of the things that make this so cool, is that we're getting Sokai tier stats on a suit that we can just pick the parts from in a couple of weeks. Well, a few weeks. It's 4 weeks now from the time it comes into the gacha. Alright, after 10 seconds pass, reduce cooldown by 50% once. This has a myriad of uses. So, things to keep in mind. Obviously, this isn't going to be amazing for one-on-one arenas if you're racing for like top score. 10 seconds, way too long. Fight should be over within a second or two or less. This might not be great in other racing content as well that you want to do, but this, because of the 10-second trigger, this has a ton of viability when it comes to battle circuit, when it comes to multi-missions, when it comes to just general story content. Lots of uses for this, no complaints. Numerically as well, we're looking at an actual significant amount of shot attack on this. So looking at about, what, 2150 or so shot attack, which, good stuff. Again, not a Sokai or anything. That's a lot of numbers for a standard suit. Melee falls a little bit shorter. We're looking at about 4,500 melee attack. Still good. It's definitely not bad, but not as strong as what we see in Sokai. But again, you know, the fact I can even start kind of comparing them is really should speak volumes in itself. Ace exclusive and Transformer. So we toss the 4 space tag, go away, and we get the Transformer, which is pretty cool. So the Transformer tag acts as a really good activation trigger for a bunch of traits. Yeah, no, Ace exclusive and Transformer is a good combo. So no complaints about the arms either. So far, we're pretty much batting like 3 for 3 on this thing. It's good stuff. That's really good stuff. Alright, and the Feetsies, Hip Beam Cannon, another B-Power EX skill. Alright. Now, fire your side armor's Rapid Fire Beam Cannon. I'm gonna need to see what this looks like animation-wise, but it sounds pretty good on paper. Alright, numerically. Okay, so looking at about 1200, 1300 melee attack, and about 1650, 1700 on the shot. Pair of legs. Again, solid stuff. No complaints here. What's going on in the chat? Oh, so thinking about capital, I had a discussion with Nick about capital. Actually, was it with Nick? Let me double check. It was just a really interesting conversation about people's different like capital status and what kind of what we were sitting on here. Oh yeah, right. So it was one of the Reddit mods, Nick and myself, and apparently the Reddit mod just completely ran out of capital. And I'm sitting here and I'm looking at my gift box with like 80 things of capital in there, and I'm thinking like, man, how'd you manage that? That's a skill. I don't think we need more capital, guys. Dial it back. Stop asking them to fix capital related things. And I also found it really funny that out of all the content creators, I was the one that got the capital for completing my mission. I just found that yeah, kind of a yeah, no. It was funny, but yeah, just add one more 0 to the capital, problem solved, am I right? All right. So let's move on to the backpack. Back beam cannon. Ah, D power. I don't have to see anything else. I know exactly what to expect from you. Nothing. Alright, statistically, we're looking at about 1500 melee attack or so. We're looking at about 1900, 2000 shot attack. No problems here, Chief. Like, this thing is packing heat when it comes to stats, much like the Welfare. Nice. Alright, when attacking with beam, EX skill power boosted by 30%. Alright, that looks extremely familiar. Where have we seen this before? May it have been the Welfare? Ace exclusive Transformer. Those are some really good tags to see though. That's nice. That's really nice. Both of those on a weapon slot really helps for melee builds, as well as, obviously, shot builds. It's not the most common thing in the world to find a weapon with Ace exclusive. We do need more weapons with Commander, I'll say that much. But Ace exclusive isn't the most common thing, so this is nice. This gives us more flexibility. And for people that need Transformer, there you go, another option. That's a good trait, too. Damn, son. And the Beam Smart Gun. Wow, that is an interesting looking beam rifle that there is. With power attribute, enemy EX skill power reduced by 30%. I'm not the biggest fan of this trait. It does only affect the suit that this weapon is going to be equipped onto, not your entire squad. At least it's a big modifier number, but I think you should focus more on doing the damage than trying to mitigate the damage, you know? Oh wow, that's actually good numbers, yeah. Post-alter, this thing is like Sokai. Did we accidentally get like a Sokai banner? And like, what is going on here? What the f... I'm so confused. I'm so confused, guys. So, first of all, we have the Qubeley, which already has amazing stats for a welfare, easily a cut above pretty much everything we've seen so far in the pool. Power creep is real. And somebody pointed out that it only has 2 marks. Something that tickles my curiosity bone. I wonder if the suit was originally supposed to be a 4-star and it got downgraded to a 3-star to be put into the welfare pool. And the only reason I bring that up is in the past, we've had examples of this. For example, the white Gundam head, the OG Gundam head that came as a 4-star, at one point, many months ago, you could obtain as a 1-star part. But even when you fully upgraded that part to max, it still had the same amount of slots as the original head did. So I'm almost thinking the Qubeley was actually a 4-star suit that then got dialed back into a 3-star to be put into the welfare position, which would explain the stats if it was supposed to be a standard 4-star banner suit. And then I'm looking at this suit and it's like the numbers scream Sokai, but this could all just be chalked up to them deciding to ramp up the numbers for this coming year after the anniversary, because maybe they want to dump more difficult content on us, and the only way to really do that is crank the numbers up. We'll see. All right, let's go take a look at our pilots. Way down here. Yeah. You got 100% melee damage reduction, melee... Okay. So, that's interesting. I find it really interesting that they've actually, like, split the classification, EX reduction and melee damage. Because it makes sense from just a word point of view. When I reduce melee damage, all sources of melee damage, whether EX skill or them slapping me with a weapon. But when it's EX damage reduction, that should only affect EX skills, right? Not in general damage. But it's good to know that the 100% EX skill reduction build is going to be pretty beefy. All right. So we'll start off with Doug Schneid. I don't know. He looks dope though. All right. While Xeon, enemy EX skill penetration reduced by 22%. All right, Xeon, not difficult to trigger these days. We've got lots of options, especially in the last like 5 months or so. We've had a lot of Xeon suits coming through, which is good. Lots of mono eye. Enemy EX skill penetration reduced. So when it's talking about penetration, that's talking about how much damage ignores your defensive values and resistance values. So this pilot just makes it harder for them to damage you with, I guess, true damage is the best way to put it. Numerically, he's an infighter, a good amount of melee, better than some 4-star, better than a lot of 4-stars, let's be real. Xeon in close combat. So I would put him at pretty much the 4-star tier. He's good, for sure, like he's good. And the numbers are there. I would say in the 3-star pool, he definitely pushes up near the top. Not a big fan of the trait though. The tags are definitely flexible. You can use them for a number of things. Yeah, for 3 stars, pretty dang good. Let's take a look at our 4-star though. Zabine Sharo, Crossbone Gundam. At least I'm pretty sure I should pronounce his name, whatever. When attribute affinity with enemy is advantageous, job gauge increase boost by 17%. Okay, so what I want to do here, I want to ask you a serious question, Bandai. I want to ask you a serious question. I know one of you is watching this. I don't know which one, but I know one of you is. Why could you fit so much text up there when attribute affinity with enemy is advantageous? Look at the amount of text that's up there, okay? Why is it that we still have that shorthand, like the melee damage down 10%? Why can't you expand on that to make it more descriptive when you clearly can use the entire text box space? Come on. I know you're watching. Okay, so I don't personally like the job gauge. I still think it still needs some work to be good. But I know, some people like it. They like what it does, all that. Cool, whatever. You do you. I don't think this is that useful, but if you do, it's solid. He does get a 17% boost, which runs in line with more or less what we see from like any parts that really have this, Sokai or otherwise. And the attribute affinity is really easy to do. If they're running technique, you run power. They're running power, you run speed, and so on and so forth. Right? Extra damage, and you get a job gauge boost. It's a win. But I don't like it. Okay. Numerically. Okay. Ooh, okay, so he's a long shooter, 2,300 shot attack, 1,300 shot defense, carryover, we're looking at about 2,700 shot attack. To keep in mind, that's in line with a lot of the build project pilots. Mr. One Eye here. He knows what he's doing. He's got that shooty pew pew. Alright, Gundam type, ace exclusive. Yep, great tags, great stats for a 4-star that isn't a build project. He's got that long shooter tag to really build off all of it. Don't like the trait, but you know what? That's what the back slot is for, am I right? Alright. Yeah, maybe Lock-On would have survived if he had an eye patch. Get that extra shot attack in there so he didn't blow on. Anyways. Okie doke. That's that out of the way. Let us go and take a look at the Twitter stuff, and then we'll come back to alterations, and I'll cry into a pillow. All right, Twitter. I gotta find the friggin' source again. Every time, I always have to redo this. All right, let's refresh the page and let's see what we get. Oh yeah, look at that, eh? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Alright, S Gundam, wow us. Wow us with that good juice. Hold on a sec. No. Okay, so. All right. The backpack. All right, the head. This is the one I wanted to see really badly. Is that multi-hitting? Yo, you guys seeing that, right? Things multi-hitting. Oh yeah. Okay. So that's interesting. That's really, really interesting. Alright, nothing else to see on there. Alrighty. Now, the thing is, the Dober gun from the Tall Geese fires its shot, and it's really quick. It's like just kind of like bang, does like one hit, maybe two per target, and then it's over. And this one is just like sit there and just burr. Although maybe I'm thinking the wrong Dober gun EX, because there's lots of EX that use the same names in this, right? So, anyways. From what I saw, looking at the S Gundams and its EX skills, all the stuff that we just saw there, the legs, where it does the rapid fire, the hip beam weapons, whatever, it's interesting. It seems to have the range, it seems to do the damage. I don't really have much of a complaint about that one. Good enough. The backpack, unfortunately, it's D power. Don't even consider it. Now the head. The head looks really solid. It does have a lot of wind up. And a big issue with that is the enemy can just move out of the way, dodge. Because it didn't look like time was stopped when it was doing the pre-animation setup. If it does time stop, cool. If it doesn't, we got a real problem. Because do remember, the crossbone, or not the crossbone, the X Gundam's backpack, when it used the EX skill, it could be interrupted easily. You could sneeze at it and you would break its EX skill, put it on cooldown, and it would do nothing, right? And they fixed that with the double X, where it actually stops time and then it shoots the beam and does the thing, right? So if the EX, or if the S Gundam's head does not stop time, it's pretty much in the same tier as the X Gundam's backpack, where it really boils down to, do you get interrupted or not? It looks solid, it looks like it does a lot of damage, gives you that little bit of shot boost afterwards, which is great stuff to see. But yeah, it really just boils down to, does it time stop or not, which we didn't see in that demo video. All right, well, let's go take a look at the, well, first let's take a look at the event blueprints. Let's make sure nothing snuck in that I haven't looked at before. So we have Graham, Double Z. The Double Z is not new though, is it? Like we've got this build project before, didn't we? I'm pretty sure we got this as a build project before. Or am I remembering something else? Where's Mana Fusion weighing in? Yeah. Anyways, so it doesn't look like anything new in the build project category I have to go over, which is nice. But I'm going to assume that the Maxter, Tetra, and H2 normal all got alterations, meaning I have to look them over. Anyways, let's take a look at the limited pool. Nothing new there. Oh, not true. Those three are there, staring me down in the face. What about permanent? Victory and X. Okay. Is this a new alteration, or is this a revival alteration? I'm going to assume because the Double Z is there, it's a revival. Anyways, let's start with the Victory Gundam. I'll work my way across. Okay, so for anyone that hasn't seen the alteration stuff that I do, the TLDR, the quant is new. Okay, good to know. For anyone that hasn't seen the alteration content I do before, I literally just look at the EX skill, the trait to see what happens. It's more or less considered to be assured that the stats will increase when you do alteration. So far, I think there's like 4 parts that break the mold where they actually lose stats when you alternate them. So we just assume, based on the thousands of parts that we have available for alteration so far in this game, 4 of them is such a tiny percentile. Stats increase. I don't care about them. Word tags, they don't change. The only thing that does change, EX skill, trait. It's all that matters, all I look at. Cool. Moving on. Head-mounted Vulcan. Yes, those are always completely useless. Moving right along to the torso. Even after they added the chance, for, or not the chance, but like it staggers after enough hits, that's not enough to offset the fact that you're wasting a valuable EX skill slot on something that does effectively nothing. And I say effectively because it does do something. It's in the long run of things, it's so minimal. When you swap to SN, you don't get the bonus. What are you talking about? Anyways, Victory Gundam Torso with rifle category equipped, EX skill piercing boosted, so that's how much of your EX skill ignores the enemy's defense and resistance. And with technique attribute, EX skill power boosted. Really easy to get the technique attribute, just 5 technique parts or more, and you get an EX skill power boost. The first trait, I guess you can say feeds into this because the EX skill pierce boosting with the EX skill power means it will overall do much more. Do keep in mind that typically when an EX skill has A+ power or higher, the piercing is a lot lower, meaning any kind of EX skill pierce on paper should boost the damage significantly. But again, you know, that's something that I haven't personally tested myself, and I haven't seen any real results from people testing it. I'm not saying nobody's done it. I'm just saying I haven't seen it. Yeah. All right. Cool stuff. Good alteration, I would say. Those two traits really work well. Arms. I said arms, boy. Vertical saber spin. Oh, that is asking to get punched in the face. Even though it has B+ power and A pierce, this is something that locks you into an animation. Meaning if you whiff it, or the enemy doesn't stagger, good luck. That's all I gotta say. You do reduce the enemy's Gunpla beam resist by 39%, which is significant, but do remember that resist is not defense. Defense is typically like up in the multiple tens of thousands, you know, 20,000, 30,000, around that, whereas resist is typically 2,000 or less. So numerically, you're not really knocking a lot off. I'm not sure what the formula is, whether or not it's really useful. I don't think it's been mined out yet. So, yeah, I'd say no, just because it locks you into an animation, and that never works out well from what I've seen. With A pierce, they should stagger, and that's the problem, is they should. What if they don't, right? Yeah. So, with rifle category equipped, close shot attack raised by 20%. Do keep in mind this purely refers to the neutral attacks. When you have a gun, or when you have a ranged weapon equipped, there are 3 distances you can, well, I guess technically 4. You can be at close range, you can be at mid range, you can be at long range, or you can be completely out of range. Your reticle changes based on your distance to the enemy suit, and each weapon has a different bonus. SMGs, for example, are close range. Beam rifles and beam bazookas are medium range. The sniper rifles, long range. Who could have seen that coming? And shooting these weapons from these ideal distances boosts the damage that they do. This increases your close shot attack by 20%, meaning it's really only going to benefit SMGs if you get up close and personal. Now, granted, this could be a valid trait to want if you're someone that really relies on boosting your damage and not your EX skills or anything. There are crazy people everywhere, I'm not going to stop you. But overall, not a great trait. When attacking with beam, melee crit rate boosted by 40%. I've already talked about how I feel about crit rate, but if you are going to go with a crit rate style build, this gives a huge 40% boost, meaning you have most of it out of the way already. And beam, very accessible in the melee category. Alright, let's take a look at the Bakapaka. So, Victory Gundam Backpack. With technique attribute, debuff EX skill time up. Alright, so when you're fighting somebody, the matches should not last long enough that a buff runs out. If it does, it means you're doing a battle circuit you're stalling on, or you're doing a multi-mission you didn't instantly nuke the boss in. Because buffs last a really good amount of time, and debuffs, you don't need, like, I understand why this exists. I understand why it may sound appealing, but if I use a debuff on somebody, chances are they're dead right afterwards. That's pretty much how it goes. Increasing the skill time, that's just not it. Like, if this was increase your buff EX skill time, alright, sure, maybe I wanted it to last longer during a battle circuit or something, but debuff? Cooldown time up 10%, melee power boosted by 35%. So another one of those scenarios where they really need to properly explain what they mean. So what this is, like, cooldown time up 10%, it should be cooldown time increased by 10%. That makes way more sense, and everyone that speaks English would instantly understand it. Anyways, all of your weapon cooldowns are increased by 10%, but you get a melee power boost out of it. Do keep in mind that effectively the way that this game does its number crunching for EX cooldown is if I have 3 parts on my suit that are cooldown reduction by 30%, I have a 90% reduction. And then if I get this cooldown time up 10%, that goes down to 80%. But if I have enough parts to get 110% cooldown reduction, and I have the cooldown time up 10% here, it goes down to 100%. It's just the way it works. I don't make it up. Buff EX skill, attack skill says lower an opponent's defense, but it usually lasts 10 seconds. Like, the thing is, again, with those, when you're playing at a level where it actually matters that you need to reduce your enemy's stats in order to kill them because they're so beefy or something like that, you can't kill them. When you use something that has a short duration like that, I think most people will have something immediately to follow it up with to capitalize on that reduction. Again, like I said, I get why it's there. I just find it's completely useless at any level of play beyond, like, you know, I would almost argue once you've played the game for like maybe 2 months, 2.5 months, it's completely worthless. In my mind, anyways. Okay, so I like the second trait as long as your build can accommodate the 10% cooldown increase. Not a big fan of that first trait, is what it is. Beam Saber. With technique attribute, strong melee crit rate boosted. Already talked about this, moving on. 26% chance of attacks penetrating super armor. Now that's a big modifier. So super armor, if you're not familiar with the term, is when you hit an enemy, they just ignore it, they don't flinch, and they begin punching you to death. So when you have a 26% chance of attacks penetrating super armor, on paper, that means 1 in 4 attacks will cause the enemy to stagger. You can get 100%, to my understanding. Yeah. I don't like really either of these traits, frankly. This lets you chain cutscenes together, because some cutscenes take so long if you do 3 in a row. Okay, but then that just boils down to you're not, like... Flammy, you're kind of missing the point where I'm saying the reason I have an issue with the debuff effect, like, duration thing... Actually, wait, is it duration or is it the actual debuff effect itself? Am I being stupid about this whole thing, or is it duration? Yes, debuff EX skill timeout. Okay, so the big issue that I have with it is when you're at a level, again, like I said, when you're at a level where debuffing is almost required to do damage and kill what you're fighting, because remember, when you're new to this game and you're playing, the enemies are so weak. Like, if you just got the Qubeley, for example, if you got this week's Qubeley welfare event and just got it to like level 80, you could beat all the way up to like chapter 10 on auto and not care, because those stats are insane for what the story content actually brings to the table. And by the time you get there, you'll probably have access to parts, way more parts than what you had when you started. And obviously, you know, you play the game, and you can use that to just build something up that doesn't require multiple chain debuff EX skills. But the point I'm getting to here is early on, this is completely useless. And later on, when you finally can make use of this, you have so many EX skills available to you. You have so many buffs available to you, so many options, that why are you using cutscenes that take forever? If anything, you should use a couple of skills that reduce the enemy's stats in a very quick fashion, perhaps a couple of like gamma debuffs or something, and just like throw a yeet shield at them, or use an S plus cutscene EX skill or whatever to do the damage. Because, like, yeah, the duration is short, but 10 seconds is more than a large enough window for a single cutscene EX, which is all you should need to kill something that you've debuffed at that level of play. You could unga bunga your way through with melee or shot, but there are some people that make really perverse builds with stupid amounts of defense and resist on it just to troll. And those are the very few scenarios where you actually need like stat reduction things like debuffs to pierce that. But it's very rare. Anyways, last thing here, the beam rifle. Beam ranged weapon reload speed boosted. So this only affects the reload speed of your ranged weapon. In this case, it'd be this beam rifle. And outfighter job gauge increase boosted. I talked about how I feel about that. I think both these traits are effectively a write-off, especially the first one. That's not really that useful because most weapons have a very short reload speed anyways. Gamma debuffs and debuffs have no iframes, so you can get knocked out of it and not apply the debuffs at all. The only use for it lets you solo raid bosses. If you stack it, ramps up the damage. Well, okay, Flammy, I get where you're going with that train of thought, but I've also seen videos of people soloing the multi-mission bosses and stuff without debuffs. They just kind of walk up, beat the living tar out of it with a couple of EX skills and call it a day. So the debuff duration up is in no way, shape, or form required. Sounds like you need to get good, scrub. Anyways. Yeah. I don't really know about the iframe thing. I know that almost all funnels have iframes, and it's really funny. Solo equals buff stacking. Now, is it more effective to buff stack or debuff stack? I always say buff stacking because, for one, the enemy can sometimes clear debuffs on themselves, and sometimes debuffs miss. So that's coming from other games, you know, MMOs, Fate Grand Order particularly. I play that one a lot. Self-buffs are infinitely better than debuffing the enemy because you're guaranteed to buff yourself, and sometimes the enemy can resist, they can, you know, it can be not effective, all those other reasons. So I've always looked at buffing as king, debuffing as a, I really need to do extra damage, and I've kind of hit the theoretical cap of what I can do to myself. Yeah, there is no gamma debuff. I couldn't remember if it's alpha, beta, or gamma, but I know one of them is for debuffs. One of them is, I think alpha is buff, beta is debuff, and I can't remember what the hell gamma does. I think that's squad buffs, isn't it? Anyways, end of the day, let's take a look at the X Divider. I want to get all these alteration things done with because I want to go to bed early tonight because PGR is getting its big update at 5 in the morning for me, where I can finally roll alpha, which I'm hype as shit for. And I have 30,000 worth of BC saved up in between the stuff I've earned through playing the game, all of the event stuff. It'll be good. And then at like 6 a.m., Fate Grand Order is getting its new story portion. So I want to get this done so I can sleep early to get all that stuff going for tomorrow. I also have a doctor's visit tomorrow. PGR, Punishing Grey Raven. If you're interested, what I'll do is once I'm done with this stream completely, I can boot it up really quick if you're interested, take a look at it. That game is fucking great. All right, Gundam X Divider. Excuse me. Offense up Gamma. Raise melee and shot attack your squad. Ooh. Oh boy, look at those numbers. All right, so keep in mind, 59% is the current highest for buffs. 54% is the second highest for buffs. 49% is the third highest for buffs. So far, we've only seen 59% on like the very limited Sokai stuff. 54% excessively rare. So seeing a 49% on the X Divider as an upgrade here, chef's kiss. This is beautiful. This is what we. So this is melee and shot attack of your entire squad. You can put this on a random suit that you're fielding with you in 3v3 or something, 49% boost for free. That's free real estate. That's insane. That's insane. Yeah, this is, as the kids say, it's a real glow up. With blade category equipped, strong melee power boosted by 30%. So it's okay for support suit. So here's the thing. That tier of buff, 49% to shot and to melee, can actually be put on any suit and shine, because that is an insane amount of boost for your entire squad. The reason that I said it can be just put on a support machine is most people run 3 EX skills on their main suit. It can range between something to buff themselves, a cutscene and a magazine, sometimes it's 2 magazine and a cutscene. There's all sorts of variations people go with. But in that scenario, you don't want to throw away one of your EX skills for a buff. You'd rather take the buff and put it on something else so your suit remains as strong as it always has been. But now this gives it an extra like 49% stats. Bada bing, bada boom. We working. We cooking with fire. You can definitely use it on anything, really. All right. So with blade category equipped, strong melee power boosted by 30%. Strong melee is the last attack in a melee combo, or if you're running an infighter or outfighter job and you are dashing at the enemy and attack. It's that strong swing that you do to kind of wrap up. That is the only thing affected by strong melee power. It's not that great. With power attribute self, melee power boosts by 35%. Solid number. I got no complaints about that second trait. Not a big fan of the first trait, especially with Blade. Because Blade, if you remember, is the big great sword style where it's like big, heavy, long, slow swings. Yeah. Not my cup of tea, but it may be some people's cup of tea. Outfighter Job. Enemy shooting power reduced by 30%. Again, do remember this only affects whatever suit this is equipped to. It doesn't actually take the enemy stat and reduce it for everyone that's on the field, just for the suit this is on. And shield parts EX skill power boosts by 35%. Yo, did they make this part thinking about like the Gaia or something? What? So, if you have the Rebake shield with a yeet, if you have the Gaia shield, which is a yeet, both of these will benefit from that thick EX skill power boost. Food for thought. Food for thought. Eggs. What do we got on the footsies? Outfighter Job EX skill CD reduced by 20%. This is not initial EX skill CD, this is overall EX skill CD. That's a pretty solid friggin' number. While mid-range, EX skill piercing boosted by 28%. Mid-range is a word tag. As you can see, it actually has the tag down here, mid-range. Thing is, I guess this really does depend on the EX skills you use, whether or not you think pierce is a better idea to get than like EX skill power up, shooting up, melee up, whatever. So just think about that one. I can't really make that decision for you. That first trait's really solid. That second trait is okay. Backpack. Twist Buster. Nice. Lift your foes with your saber, then knock them back to the earth. This is a not cutscene animation lock. If I remember right though, it's quick. So if you whiff it, you're not putting yourself into a terrible amount of danger, but you're probably still going to get hurt. It's a power, for whatever that's worth. Not much. Alright, let's take a look at its weapon. Pew pew pew, beam machine gun. Outfighter Job, initial EX skill charge boost by 20%. So this only triggers for the very first time once your weapon, or once your EX skill, I should say, once your EX skill becomes usable, that trait will stop affecting it. So, one-time kind of dealio. Beam ranged weapon, reload speed boost by 25%. Again, that only affects the ranged weapon that you have equipped, and it will only work on beam, which happens to be this, beam machine gun. Not that great. Shield, the harmonica cannon. Hey, it got upgrade. It was what, C power before or something, but now it's B+. That's pretty solid stuff. Nice. A Pierce, B+ power. No real complaints about that one, Chief. Actually, okay, not true. It has a really long cooldown for a B+ power skill. I wish the cooldown was a little lower because B+ power, but is what it is. If you really like the X divider, nice upgrade tree. It's got some cool stuff, lots of numbers, but I think it could have been better. All right, let's pop on over to the limited. So we have the Quanta Full Saber, the Maxer, the H2 Normal, and the Gerbera Tetera. Okay, is this limited, altered, or permanent? Well, if you go to the permanent tab, you'll see the X divider. Something tells me it's permanent. Gut feeling. Don't take my word for it. All right. So let's take a look-see at the Tetra. I'm really curious how they upgrade the... oh wait, no, this isn't the one that had the lockdown. I'm thinking of the Rosen? Anyways, Gerbera Tetra, the Noggin. While Gundam type, or with Gundam type enemy, shooting power boosts by 25%. So when you are targeting an enemy that has the Gundam type word tag, you get a 25% shooting power boost at max trait level. That's a very niche thing. With speed attribute, shooting damage output boosted by a flat number. Man, they did you dirty, man. Alright. Torso. With Gundam type enemy, EX skill damage output boosted by a flat number. With machine gun category equipped, shooting crit rate boosted. Arms? C Power Magazine? I guess it is one of the original welfares. Shame. If that was B, that would have been really, really nice. C Power, though, we have so many options. So many options. That's just not worth it. Alright, legs. Beam Saber combo. We've seen a dime a dozen Beam Saber combos. It's not worth it. You get locked into a really bad animation. When armor is 60% or more, buff EX skill effect up. Alright, so what this is doing, now somebody said that the back is really good, and they're right. Let me just break this down for anyone that's not quite sure how the numbers work in GBGW, or GBM now. When you call it something for 2 years, it kind of sticks. So, when armor is 60% or more, that's very straightforward. As long as you have more than 60% of your health, this will activate. Buff EX skill effect up 15%. This is a flat addition. For example, if we roll back to the X Divider head, where it boosted your melee and shot attack by 49%, if you also had this backpack on, it would actually add 15% to that value. So it would move up to, 63%? 64%? 64%. Don't mind me. Again, I'm running on a little sleep here. So that's really good, considering practically free. Again, it's a welfare. Stupid easy to get, well, if you don't already have it, it may be a little more difficult. But for people that ran this event originally, you probably have this trait 10. So that's really nice. While Ace exclusive shooting power boosted by 30%. So, two things to keep in mind here. Is it time up? No, buff EX skill effect up, not time up. Right there on the screen, Mana. Right there. While Ace exclusive, that is a core shooting tag. You're gonna have that on your shot machine. Yeah, we're both cooked. Don't worry about it, Mana. So, Ace exclusive, remember, 10% shooting or shot attack boost. You're going to have this on a shot machine. You get a shooting power boost on top of that. Combine these two things together. Any buff that you're running on your suit, you just add 15% to flat out, as long as you have more than 60% armor, which you're probably going to have. So that's a solid buff right there to all of your skills. And you get a 30% shooting power boost if you're running a core shooting tag. This is an amazing alteration, and considering I believe this uses the blue alter parts instead of the gold alter parts, if you can afford it, alter this part if you have it right away, because you will eventually find a good use for this somewhere. Nice. And the beam machine gun, Panic Maker. B-. Hey, cool. Unfortunately, I don't remember what this EX skill looks like. I don't know if it sprays it around like a Vulcan. I don't know if it fires it straight like the Dober gun. I have no idea what this actually does out of its skill description. It could be really good with its B- power. Could be really bad because it can hit the broadside of a barn. I don't know. But on paper, it looks good. One Direction spray. Now, are we talking shotgun spray or like beam machine gun spray? There's a big difference. And actually, I wonder, I do. Where are you? Don't mind me. I'm just making sure I don't forget, because I'm very prone to forgetting this stuff. Very, very prone. It's a giant spray of bullets. Okay, well, that kind of makes it not as cool to me. I'm gonna just, alright. And we're done. Don't have to worry about that anymore. So the Gerber Tetra saw some interesting improvements. Overall, really nothing to write home about. The most important thing though is definitely the backpack on this. It is a amazing upgrade. 10 out of 10. All right, let's take a look at the age 2 normal. With technique attribute, shooting damage taken reduced by a flat number. Useless. Middle shooter job, shooting damage output boosted by a flat number. Similarly useless. Torso. While Transformer, EX skill cooldown reduced by 15%. That is solid. Again, this is one of those really good traits that Transformer activates. With technique attribute, EX skill piercing boosted by 28%. Now, again, I don't think a lot about the EX skill piercing, but I do really like that EX skill reduction. That's free real estate, good stuff, lovely, beautiful. Good stuff, age 2 normal torso. Good stuff. Thing is, you don't need to alterate it to get that first trait, so if you really want that second trait for the EX skill pierce boosting, sure, up to you though. When attacking with beam, melee damage output boosted by a flat number, worthless. Beam range weapon reload speed boost, that's also useless. The arms are a write-off. Legs. Stream slash. What are we? Fucking Sword Art Online over here? B+, B+. I remember, I'm pretty sure that this is a bad animation, so no dice. Backpack. When armor is 80% or less, close shot attack raised by 14%. Okay. No. With technique attribute, enemy special shot power reduced by 30%. Special shot can only be used by long shooter and mid shooter tags. That's when you hold down the shot button and it does a weapon dependent special attack, like bazookas charge a shot and fire it to blow up on the ground. Beam rifles fire a beam straight forward that keeps going until you run out of bullets, or you let go of the shot. So not really that useful. Not really that useful at all. Let's take a look at our Dodds. Hyper Dodds Rifle. While Transformer, initial EX skill charge boosted by 12%. When squad has all attributes, shooting power boosted by 35%. Didn't we just get a swimsuit unit with this? Pretty sure we did. Pretty sure I'm seeing some stacking going on here. That could get nasty. If you have the Hyper Dodds rifle, I'd recommend alterating this too. Yeah, 35% on a welfare. You're seeing that right. That's like some actual top tier stuff. I don't think my Hyper Dodds is 10. No, it's only 1, but it doesn't matter. I have it, and that's what matters. Let's go! Because I can always get this to 10 later on, as long as I have it. That's what matters. Alright, and Hyper Dodds rifle. Alterate. Go! You don't need the stats though, this is a sub-slot dealio. Alright. Oops. I forgot to look at the shield. Middle shooter job, special shot crit rate boosted. No thank you. When operated on an auto, shooting crit rate boosted. Look, at least these two traits feed into each other. So it kind of complements. If you're playing on auto, you get a shooting crit rate boost, and I've noticed that shot pilots love using special shot. Not for the better, but they love using it. Makes you wonder what the future of Sokai is like if welfare is looking like this now. Well, funny enough, if you take a look at the Super Sokai Fest that just passed, actually I think we saw the Helios on right up, you can just look at the head. That is the future. That is the future, and it terrifies me in ways I didn't think possible. Alright, let's take a look at our last welfare suit here, the Maxter, and then we'll go pop on over to the 00 Quanta. And then I'm going to hop into bed. It's going to be great. Well, after I potentially open PGR, depending on how many people are actually interested in it. Anyways, Gundam Maxter. Now, just as a note to some people, this is one of the few suits that we got as a welfare that has the very nice mobile fighter tag. With the rebalance of word tags that happened late-ish last year, mobile fighter became a core tag on melee machines, as it gives a 10% melee attack boost and a melee defense boost. Yeah. With power attribute, melee power boosted by 30%, and with an outfighter job, EX skill piercing boosted. those are solid traits when paired together. Again, I'm still not the biggest fan of the EX skill piercing, but I know why it's there, I can see where it's useful, and frankly, putting it on a part that has mobile fighter for melee builds, lots of melee skills, like for bisect, right? S power, and it has like what? D pierce or whatever. This will help it a lot if you're running a power suit anyways, as you get the melee power boost and you get the EX skill piercing boost, which will help it a lot. Shot has a little more, what's the word? Shot doesn't have to worry about it as much, because I've noticed a lot of people run melee machines, and melee machines typically have lower shot resistance. But anyways, good stuff to see. Good job, Maxter. You got an actual decent upgrade, I think. Decent upgrade, Maxter. Is the event live right now? Well, yes. Yes, it is. Hyper mode. So what did you... I don't know what I expected. I was hoping like a 39% on the melee attack boost or something. So we get the 20% speed boost, 29% melee attack boost, and the 19% shot attack boost. I'm pretty sure all this did was upped the melee attack from 19% to 29%. But let me double check here real quick, because it's been so long since I saw the Maxter that I actually forget what his original stats were. Upgrade it. Speed, melee, and shot attack by 19. Yeah, so all it did was it added 10% extra to the melee. Not bad. Again, it is a welfare part. I guess 29% is okay enough for a welfare. Cyclone Burning Machine Gun Punch. B+ power. Alright. Low cooldown, B+ power, most likely solid, but again, it purely boils down to the actual animation itself. Do keep in mind, if it's something that locks you into a place for a decent period of time, it may not be the best, because if you whiff it, you're gonna get punished. Legs. Ugh. Gigantic Magnum. Fire the twin pistols on your waist. B+ power. Okay. If it works like a B+ power EX skill should, dope. Low cooldown, ranged, pop pop. And the backpack. With power attribute, 28% chance to not recoil, so that's when you get hit, do you stagger or not? Effectively, that's applying super armor to yourself. When mobile fighter, buff EX skill effect up by 22%. So again, mobile fighter, effectively core on melee builds. To keep in mind, what this is doing is if you're running a power suit that also has the mobile fighter word tag, you're giving yourself 28% chance of super armor and a 22% buff EX skill effect on everything that you use that buffs you. It's pretty good. Pretty good. So what we're gonna do here, I keep seeing people saying the legs are really good. You know what I'm gonna do, guys? I'm gonna take your word for that. This is, wow, it's level 2. Doesn't matter though. What are you? You're B right now, and then when we upgrade you, DB, and this variant is, you know what, BC? No. Interesting. It went from B to B+. But, as we still don't exactly know what the fuck that actually means, because Bandai has refused to actually explain what these letters mean, I'll just take the dive. And back, and select you. Come on, there we go. Thankfully, because of the hanger, I can actually EX10 all of these later. So the Maxter saw some interesting improvements. Lots of really high tier second traits got added, which is dope. But it is still one of the very few sources of mobile fighter that we had in the welfare pool. So that alone gives the Maxter a ton of value. So just keep that in mind, beyond the fact that it got some pretty good traits and stuff. So let's take a look at our 00 Quanta Full Sabre. Full Sabre. Oh. All right. Recovery Tool Gamma, 68% heal. Cool. I don't really find the heals that useful because a lot of really good EX skills have heals on them anyway, so it's not really useful. You know, you diggy? You can just craft the parts in the event blueprints to upgrade it, then waste a hanger slot. Yeah, but you can only craft so many of them during the event, depending. Like these ones, for example, I can craft infinite of because they're just based on me playing the event. But for example, when something's put into like the event blueprint pool, I hate it because, for example, the red frame legs. I would love to be able to get my bisect up to EX10 because I think it's like level 7 or something now. It's going to be a little difficult to do when I can only get 2 copies exchanged. But yeah, the welfare suits you can infinitely exchange for. You just keep playing the event to get the materials that you need to craft the parts. So if you lack any of these really cool looking welfare parts we just looked over between the Tetra, the H2 normal, and the Maxter, don't worry, just play the event a ton, get as many of these materials as you can. And that's the other thing too. The materials, what I noticed last event anyway, so don't take my word that it works the exact same on this one. But what I noticed is that it's always even if you have all like the drop rate boosts and stuff, it drops a flat value per run. So if you didn't roll the gacha to get event parts or whatever, don't worry. Just you'll get the same amount of drops as someone that, you know, has like 2000% drop rate. Because it only affects the coins. Although I guess that's kind of said in the announcement. It's just kind of confusing because it says in game when you're like looking at it, drop rate boost, you know, 700 or 2000% or something. And then you look at the drops, you see the coins huge boost, and you look at, you know, oh, I got one of the items to craft the welfare parts. I guess I get 20. No, you get just the one. Suffer. The stats on the Quanta are so different. I think it's worth to mention. All right, so let me just drop a little nugget of knowledge on you. I don't have a lot of the Quanta Full Saber parts. I think I have like 2 of them. Let me check. Maybe I really lucked out and I got more than that, but I'm pretty sure I don't. Yeah. I don't really have a good baseline to look at its original stats on hand because in their infinite knowledge, Bandai Namco has not given us a way. Like, for example, if I were a developer for this game, okay, and I clicked on a part here in the alteration tab and I saw this, what I would have done is probably somewhere around here in this nice little empty space, a little switching arrow icon. And when you press it, it takes you to the original part that it's built off of. That way, players can instantly compare the original to the alteration, even if they don't have it. It's a little quality of life improvement. Just like I wish they would let us pick the level and stuff instead of just, you know, maxing it out on us with the button press button. You can see it in the banner. I don't want to have to keep hopping between the banner and this. That is so much time wasted. Don't get me wrong, I like doing this. I like talking about the parts and stuff, but I also don't want to spend an extra like 40 minutes going back and forth because of load times. I wailed hard on the Quanta if you need any numbers. Well, all I know is that the numbers are apparently way better on this. Or sorry, not way better, way different, was it? Yeah, the stats on the Quanta are so different from the original one. All right, so here's what I'll do. I'm not going to keep going back and forth and do a direct one-to-one comparison. What I'm going to do is say, some of my viewers have pointed out that the Quanta Full Saber here that we're looking at has significantly different values between its original gacha form and its alteration form. So before you alternate it, make sure the stats are what you expect. If they're not, keep that in mind before altering it because you cannot undo the alteration. Once you do it, you're done. That's it. Unless Bandai is willing to do a rollback for you, which I don't think they do. So before you alternate, make sure the stats work for you. There. I've done my bit. Let's look at the traits and stuff. Torso. Torso. Defense hack. Reduce melee and shot defense of all enemies by 39%. All right, so this is a very solid debuff, and it's something that can significantly boost your damage. If you were to run defense hack B and then use an EX skill, it'd be like, it wouldn't be a linear damage boost. It would be exponential. Because typically when you're at least on higher tier suits. For example, right, if I go and I'll come back to this in a second. If I go and look at my current primary shot suit here, right, I got 32, almost 33,000 shot defense and 15,000 melee defense. If we chunk off 40%, for example, from my shot defense, we're down to what, like 18,000 or something like that, which is a significant reduction. If somebody was shooting at me with, let's say, a 50k melee attack or shot attack or something, that difference in values will mean the difference between a one-shot KO and doing maybe a quarter of my HP. So don't sleep on the debuffs, but at the same time, buffs are more reliable and they don't have a very, very short duration, as has been pointed out before. But it is a solid, effective 40% reduction in stats. Does buff EX skill effect up affect debuts? I'm assuming you meant debuffs. No, buffs and debuffs are two different things. There are specific debuff skill effect up, which affect debuffs, and there's buff EX skill effect up, which affect buffs. And then there's also buff EX duration and debuff skill duration, right? So there's 4 different things. Arms. With power attribute, melee power boosted by 30%. Power attribute, super easy to activate, 10 out of 10, melee power boosted, good number. No complaints. These arms were good when they came out, still good in that category. 2. Back parts EX skill power boost by 35%. The only thing I don't like here is that with that second trait being such a solid boost to both shot and melee, the first one only boosting your melee power makes me a big sad. Big sad. But is what it is, right? Alright. Solid set of arms. Let's take a look at those legs. Those nasty, nasty legs. Infighter job, EX skill CD reduced by 20%. We have so many infighters. So many infighters. And when attribute affinity with enemies advantageous, EX skill power 40%. I'm gonna go out on a limb here, and I'm gonna say that this part is effectively core if you're running if you're running type advantage. Melee type advantage, this part is core. Wow. I'm impressed. Damn. Alright, let's take a look at the backpack. They want us to roll. You know, it's interesting, because we have the Super Sokai running the entire week. During this duration, we're still going to get battle festivals. We're still going to get the other Sokai at the end of August. From a personal perspective, guys, I highly, highly recommend saving onto every last single Haro chip that you have. Don't fall for the baits. Don't fall for the alterations. Sit on them. Because frankly, this is terrifying. Whenever you're fighting against Teach, you get 40% more EX damage. Yep, superior type advantage, you just get that 40% boost, which is ridiculous. That is the highest modifier that we've seen so far. Alright. Backpack. Alright. So this is really just a bog standard boost. A melee attack, 39%, physical resist, 69, and it becomes an S power. Honestly, that's to be expected. I actually believe I have this backpack, so I can take a gander. No, I don't. All right, cool. Which is fine, because I didn't have the badge anyways. It would have screwed me. Blessings in disguise. Anyways, the Quanta back, your typical upgrade to an S cutscene, gives you a solid 39% melee buff. If only it included a heal, but it doesn't, which is fine. That's just more like the gravy to go with the rest of it, you know? The sword, GN Sword 4 Guitar mode. Guitar, not Qatar, but guitar. Strum 'em. When armor is 80% or less, EX skill power boosted by 30%. I've never been a fan of these. Now, here's the thing, right? Oh, sorry for hitting the mic. Before they removed the cost, the whole cost thing, these were viable. Because when you ran over cost, you would spawn with 70% armor, meaning you would immediately trigger these effects. So you could use it in 0 seconds. However, you'd obviously lose score in most content because you don't have full armor, but point being, you could use it right away and benefit. With this, you now have to take damage because we have no cost reduction anymore. And unfortunately, sometimes if you get hit and you start getting stun locked, next thing you know, you're dead. Yeah, not worth it, I don't think, anymore. At least before it was. Yeah, overcost was removed with the most recent update. You can now field unlimited amounts of cost. On that note, if you have any cost reduction gears, which were distributed through events and you could craft them, there is a way to reduce them into materials to exchange for other items. And I highly recommend you do that because cost gears no longer have any use whatsoever. Maybe keep one for posterity's sake, you know, haha, I was here before 2nd anniversary, but end of the day, they're completely worthless now. They are worth less than the inventory space slot they take up. Back parts EX skill power boost by 35%. So it's really sad because the first trait on this and the second trait are very symbiotic in that they boost your EX skill power. However, as the first one does require you to take damage now, like seriously take damage, you can't overcost cheese it or something. The second trait, good. First trait, I'm not the biggest fan of it. I don't like it very much, so. Yeah. Shame too. Second trait's pretty fucking solid. All right, let's take a look at the normal saber mode now. What's the trade-off for this feature? You can always self-destruct. Yeah, you're not wrong. Trade-off for what feature, Relic? You're gonna have to be a little more specific on that one. Who called me sleepy? When I start making puns. Boy, square up. How dare you? How dare you? Okay, so the reason that they removed the no cost over wasn't to add some kind of gimme at the end. The reason being was because the cost system was added as we were developing our suits. And as we ranked up, our cost also increased, allowing us to field more. Because here's the thing, when we started this game 2 years ago, most players had a full purple suit. You know, those were like, you know, the days. Those were the days, right? And your cost was really low. And then they added the ability to 5-star parts. And when you did that, your cost exponentially increased. And it actually mattered to continuously use your pilots and get their AI level up, because that way it would reduce their cost. And we noticed very quickly that we had to be extremely selective as to what parts we were running on our suits. Because, for example, if before this 3.0 patch dropped, if I wanted to run a 6-star, like a completely 6-star suit, that would take up just under half of the total cost, or a little under that, but a lot of the cost value. If I ran 2 full 6-star suits, I would only be able to run at maximum a completely 5-star suit in my 3rd slot without going over cost. Once you start adding in 6-star, you go over cost, then you have to add the cost minus 100 gear. The thing is, we're starting to get content now, like the most recent challenges and stuff, where if we have no cost, we can run the suits we want. And you got to remember, the devs, even back during the LA meeting, like, you know, a year and a half ago, or actually I think it was 2 years now. No, it was last year. It was just before this whole pandemic hit. Their big thing has always been they wanted the players to play the stuff they want. They wanted the players to be able to make their favorite Gunpla and use them. And because of this cost limitation, you could only really field 2 good Gunpla, and your 3rd one would have to be some kind of junker effectively, because otherwise you'd go over cost, because you couldn't have enough cost gears to reduce it enough to field the 3rd full 6-star suit. So they just looked at it and said, you know what? Let's not make players have to rank up to rank 300 to field 3 6-star suits. Let's just remove the cost altogether, let them play the suits they want, and we'll add the switching function with this as well, so they can freely swap between and change their playstyle, do whatever. And I like that change a lot, because I can now field whatever the hell I want, whenever the hell I want, and there's no penalty on my end for it. 10 out of 10. Anyways, back to this, because we only have a few parts left. Yeah, it helps new players, it helps old players. It's just a huge quality of life change. And I know quite a few other games that could benefit heavily from doing this. The first one that comes to mind, for example, is Fate Grand Order. We've had a cost limitation locked to 112 for the last 2 years, 2.5 years, 3 years, a long friggin' time. And the problem with that is you are forced into very specific, well, not specific lineups, but you're not able to field all the units you want to, because when you also put craft essences on them, you know, like sub-equips, you go over cost almost instantly, and you have to take cuts, and that's just not fun because you can't run what you want. And when a game gets to a certain age, you know, Fate Grand Order is 6 years old, you should do everything you can to make sure the players enjoy playing the game. Let them field whatever they want, however they want. Gunpla just learned that first. FGO had a QP limit raise. Okay, so I'm going to go on another quick tangent here. I was actually talking to my friend about this in the car the other day when we came back. We went out for lunch to kind of celebrate everything opening back up here in Canada. A little late, but, you know, the thought that counts, right? When FGO increased the QP cap, they didn't fix any problems. The people that were capping out at, you know, the 999 million limit, they didn't need more QP, they just needed more ways to spend it. The real problem came in for players like myself, who never have more than 100 million QP sitting on hand. What they should have done was, instead of increasing the cap to help players store more QP, they should have made it more easy and more accessible to farm excessive amounts of it, so I can upgrade all my units, so I can hit that 999 million cap. Because what the fuck are you gonna do with 2 billion QP? What the fuck are you ever gonna need that much for? Right? They tackled the problem in the exact opposite way they should have. They looked at the whales and said, well, here's what'll make the whales happy. And then they look at all the other players and go, sucks to suck, nerd, grind more. What the hell is wrong with you? No. Okay, so someone told me you can get 3.7 million QP from the newest QP farm. The thing is, I know a lot of people that are in the same boat as I am in Fate Grand Order. I have over 100 servants that are unleveled and unskilled because I don't have the embers, I don't have the QP to level them all up and skill cap them. The new changes that they've made, where they added 5-star embers from farming daily missions and, you know, over 4 million QP if you're running all of the cash or the QP boost items, I can farm a lot faster now. But the problem is, I don't want to farm. Farming in Fate Grand Order is the most mindless thing in the world. Look at the Lotto Box events. The people that do them, like this casual players, will do maybe 5 or 6 boxes. If that, it's just not worth grinding it. I don't want to log in every day, sit here for 10 minutes grinding out, watching Noble Phantasms over and over again. It's not enjoyable. It's not engaging. They needed to add a skip function. If they had added a skip function to the daily missions and farming them, it would have been the perfect update. It would have increased the QP cap so people that have way too much can get even more. The people that don't have enough can skip and farm a ton of it really quickly, dumping all these apples we have into something. But they didn't. They met in this really shitty middle road where the whales can get more money they can't spend, and the people that are broke because they don't want to farm just get more content they don't want to farm. Whoop-de-doo, we fixed the problem, boys. It's like PTSD, I swear. Okay, Gunpla, and then we'll talk about other stuff. Okay. Oh, I like that melee attack, the 11177. That's a clean number if I ever done seen it. Alright, when attacking with physical strong melee crit rate boosted, I've already talked about melee crit rate, and this only affects the strong melee attack out of everything. That's just ridiculous. No, thank you. Infighter job, Buffy X skill effect up 30%. Ooh boy, that's a good number. That's a good number that there is. That's a flat 30% boost, boys. Nice. Nice. Now, obviously there are some demerits to this. Primarily in that it only works for melee builds in Fighter Job, and there are a lot of good traits on weapons already added into the game. So this is kind of one of those sacrifice things. If you're running a lot of boosts, you know, lots of EX skills that give you benefits, you know, buffs, it's probably going to be worth it. But if you're running a suit that just has like one big cutscene or something, you might want to replace, you know, get like a EX cooldown reduction, EX skill boost, something like that, right? Really big number on this. That's good. It's Nice. All right, let's take a look at the blade mode. In fighter job, enemy shooting power reduced by 30%. Again, this only affects the suit that this is equipped onto, not onto the rest of your squad. Real shame. And shot attack down by 10%, so you lose 10% of your total shot attack, and you get a 35% melee power boost. Well, considering you're probably going to be running these on a melee suit, there are no demerits involved in this. This be dope shit. This be dope shit. Damn, Daniel. And it also has the same 11177. No complaints. Good second traits. These are some really good second traits. 11403. Why couldn't you learn from your compatriots? Granted, you have like an extra, 200 and something power, but it's not as clean. You ugly. While close combat, initial EX skill charge boosted. Solid. Close combat's a really nice tertiary tag. When attacking with physical, EX skill power boosts by 35%. So again, physical. This works for shot. This works for melee, but due to the first trait being close combat, you're probably going to run this more often on a melee machine than anything else. When attacking with physical, so that means the fist icon for melee and the 3 shells for physical shot. You get a 35% EX skill power boost. I would say this is very solid for melee builds. You get the initial EX skill charge boost. It's not EX skill charge or like the EX skill CD reduction. It's next best thing. And you get the EX skill power boost. Good stuff. Good stuff. And the rifle mode. Oh, look at that. You broke 10k. Good job. Good job, little buddy. Wide cutter particle beam. B minus power, A pierce. Very low cooldown. Change direction of the main blade unit to fire a blade beam. All right. Sure. The problem that I have with this literally just boils down to the fact that it's not B+. We have so many EX skills available for our ranged weapon slot, it's not even funny. So settling, and I definitely say settling for this, is, in my opinion, not worth it. Yeah. 1.9k melee. Yeah, this gun does have a lot of melee attack. But remember, it's a gun. It's not a sword. As much as it looks like a sword, it's a gun. But this does give a lot of melee attack. As a gun, it does okay. It exists, it can probably shoot things, and it has a existing EX skill. As a melee gun slot, you get stats. And you get pro tag. I hear pro tag's pretty good on melee builds. Yeah, it's a stat stick. You're right. All right. So with that, guys, we've looked over all the new content that got added with the most recent patch. Really? You don't... Okay, now I know you shitting with me, boy, because I got over 120 gigabytes free on this dang device. Buckaroo. Well, at least you waited until now. Perfect time to finish anyways. So, very interesting content. The welfare suit has a crazy amount of stats. We look at the S Gundam, that also has a crazy amount of stats as well for what it is. Twitter animations, we did actually look over those. Remember, only the S Gundam got added this week as a gacha suit, so it was very brief. Yeah. Overall, I would say the new suits that were added, good stuff. I have no solid complaints to make about them. For what they are, they're good. And then looking at the alterations, we see some very, very solid alterations that make welfare parts good. And I'm really happy to see Maxter actually got a really good improvement from this. Because like I said, it's one of the very, very few suits we have available with the mobile fighter tag. And it's the only one I'm aware of in the welfare pool that has mobile fighter. And if you're running a melee suit and you need the mobile fighter tag, you're most likely subbing Maxter because you don't really have many other options unless you've gachaed the right suits. Because there's I think maybe 7 suits in the game that have mobile fighter on it because they're all from Mobile Fighter G. So, yeah. Anyways, so with that, the GBM stuff is done with. Bit about a boop. Yeah. What I'll do real quick here, I'll just tack on to the end. If you guys are interested, I can turn on PGR here real quick and show you a little bit of it. I don't really mind that much because I have, I think, enough stamina for one more run right now. But yeah, I wish I could stream my alpha rolls or at least record them and upload them, but that doesn't really work at the hour I have to do the recording for here. And I would have really liked to do my FGO rolls as well, but again, much like with what's happening with PGR, I just don't have the availability to. Yeah, it's a real shame. Yes, PGR. All right. I'll do a few minutes of PGR gameplay for anyone that is interested. Anyone that just wants to hop out, feel free. Thanks for tuning in and watching, guys. Yeah, it's good stuff. Talking GBGW. If you have any questions or stuff, feel free to field them while I'm doing this. Let's see. I think... Where did I throw it? Oh, right. It was under that. Perfect. I just had to find the right one because there's lots of templates that I have available for my stuff. And do I... Yes, Elgato is capturing. Good. I gotta go around and fix all of my old templates because I'm still accidentally using some of them. So PGR is full 3D, the character models and everything. It's really nice actually for what like it is. We'll switch over to challenge. We'll do challenge 5. I need to farm a little bit. Oh, I got 2 runs in me. Cool stuff. But yeah, so actually, you know what? Just because I'm showing off the gameplay here, I'll just hide my camera real quick. Anyways, one of the big things with this game is swapping your characters to get Matrix, which is what I'm in right now, where the enemy gets slowed down for a period of time. You can really unload on them. And it's just a action-paced game. The entire point is making specific builds around making certain characters, I guess pop would be the best way to describe it. But the big draw for me with this is it's more of a skill-based game than anything. Which I really like. I enjoy my skill-based. I don't mind playing turn-based mobile games, but it's refreshing being able to play a game that has more skill-based content. But the big one, and I know a lot of people kind of crapped on it at launch for this, but I would argue it has some of the best gacha rates I've ever actually seen in a very, very long time. Let me just hide the chat box here real fast so you guys can see. So for example, if I go to the base gacha here, so target weapon research, we're about to get an event tomorrow morning. Look at the text on the side. Oops, I forgot how sensitive my new phone is. So, change set, okay? I can pick any weapon in here that I want for a rate up. Each of them is made for a specific character. If you've ever played Honkai Impact, it's really similar in that sense. But the reason the rates are so good, every 30 rolls, you can see that, like, my touches don't show on this screen. Dang it. Anyways, the last little bit there, guaranteed 6-star weapon every 30 attempts. You have an 80% chance every 30 draws for the weapon that you wanted to show up, and a 20% chance for it to be not the weapon you wanted, right? Oh, and that's it. This is not a PvP game. It's PvE. So the whales don't affect you. Yeah, anyways, so the weapon gacha, really, really generous. You can get your rate up weapons super easily with it. I love that for it. And the other thing that's really, really cool is the event banners. So let me just pop on over to the news here because it actually has the rate data here that they were talking about here. Where is it? Is it event news? Yes. And where does it show in the rates? No, it doesn't. Anyways, so the themed limited research that they're adding into the game, once you actually, it has the same rates as what's on here, so I can't actually just use this. So you can see it there. In 60 rolls, you're guaranteed to get the character that's on rate up. And this is a static thing that is available for all new characters that get added to Grey Raven. So for example, tomorrow morning, so in like 5 hours from now or so, when the new content drop goes live, within 60 draws, you're guaranteed to get the new character. So if you get it before that, cool. If you don't, you're guaranteed in 60. And you can get the weapon most likely within 30 rolls. If you translate that into pure American dollars in this game, you're looking at about approximately, if you failed on pity and you had to roll the total 90, 60 on here, 30 on the other, you would spend about $400 American to guarantee a character and their signature weapon. It sounds like a lot, but keep in mind other games. If you look at, for example, Grand Blue Fantasy, $900 to guarantee a character. Look at Fate Grand Order, unlimited dollars because its pity system is hot fucking trash. If you look at, what other games are really popular right now? Arknights. What's the pity on that? Genshin Impact. You need like $400 to guarantee the $300 to guarantee the character, and then like another $300 to guarantee the weapon. So this game is extremely generous in terms of its dollar to return ratio. And I just like the combat for it. End of the day, I look more at the rates and what I get for what I'm rolling versus the amount of rolls that I get. Because that's where a lot of the issues with this game come in, is people did not like that you get very few rolls while playing this and they feel like they're being cheated, when in reality you just don't need a lot of rolls to accomplish things. Yeah, Reincarnation, 200 pulls for pity. It's so expensive though. It's like, what, $400 or something to guarantee a character with the 200 pity? Insane. But yeah. Anyways, PGR. If you're interested, download it, try it out. It is free to play. They've optimized it really, really, really well. It can run on really crappy phones, and they actually really endorse playing it on emulators. But yeah, I wish I was paid for the endorsement, but I'm not. I just want more people to play it because the game is friggin' dope. And it had a really bad launch because a bunch of people wanted to burn it down. Anyways, I'm gonna head out, guys. I want to get to sleep. I got stuff I want to do in the morning. So thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you guys next week.